Today I will break down Bobby Green's fighting style. We will have an in-depth look at his striking and defense, so that after this video you can add some things that Bobby Green does to your arsenal and learn how to fight like Bobby Green. So let's first talk about his stance and his style. Now, like Bobby Green said himself, his style is hood.
They ask me what my style is, I tell them hood. They're like, well, what is that? You know, I don't want you to know I'm a boxer, because if I'm a boxer, then you're going to take me down and do jujitsu. If I say jujitsu, you're going to stand up with me. So I'm just going to say hood. It's street fighting. They don't know what it is. Let them figure it out.
King Green relies a lot on slipping, lateral movement, backstabs and shoulder rolls. This is all due to his hands down style. Like I said in a video of mine, if you have your hands down, you need to rely on movement, you need to rely on head movement, because blocking takes too long. It takes too long to get the hands up. So the only way you can really block is with your shoulder, is with rolling your shoulder, and this is what Bobby Green does a lot. And then again, lateral movement, backstabs and so on is really the only way you can be defensively sound. And Bobby Green does a few more things and we will look at them later. All of this can be exploited because he has his hands down. Let's just look at the Ruffy fight, for example, where Ruffy feints the hook, okay? And then Green responds with his lateral movement whilst keeping his hands down. So he's moving laterally, but he's keeping his hands down, and Ruffy exploits this and lands this brutal knockout, which caused a lot of Instagram reels. Now, it is important to know the dangers of the style and to not get trapped by your opponent. So if you use the style, and me personally, I'm trying to use the style more because I like it, because I want to learn it. But I myself need to know the dangers, and need to know the dangers that if you keep your hands down, that sometimes it is easy to exploit. Now let's speak about the striking of Bobby Green and his favorite techniques. If you watched a few Bobby Green fights, and I mean there are many, okay, there are really a lot, you maybe saw at least one. And if you watch his fights, for example the Tony Ferguson fight is a really prevalent example for this, you might notice his quad kick, okay, or just the teep to the thigh, however you want to call it. He does not mainly use it to create damage like his other techniques, but more to set up other strikes or to disrupt the rhythm and the balance of his opponent. Okay, so the quad kick is not what causes damage, but what comes after the quad kick. So for example, in the Ferguson fight, Green kicks Tony. And after he planted his feet again, so after the foot hit the ground again, instantly, like literally a split second after this, he fired out his cross. And it is also important to notice here that Green is off an angle, okay? So he's outside the lead hand of Tony Ferguson. Or as well, he used that in the Zellhuber fight, and he used that in a way not that much like he did with Tony, but more so whilst Zellhuber shifts back to maybe avoid the kick or to reset. Green uses this moment to use the striking. The moment where Zellhuber resets is the time where Bobby Green strikes. He used this many times in a fight, and this again led to the brutal KO sequence. Another offensive technique Bobby Green uses is blitzing forward. Something that he often does, or that repeats often in a fight, is him just walking around, twitching, feinting a bit, and suddenly he just blitzes forward. This happens a lot of times in Bobby Green's fight. And these attacks often land because, you know, they come really unexpected. He's moving around, and suddenly he blitzes forward. And you need to have a really good reaction time with Bobby Green to not get hit in this time. And Bobby Green really likes using this when people are moving forward. So it just stops you whilst you're coming forward. He might also dip his head off the center line. So he blitzes forward and he dips his head off the center line, giving that extra protection. So if you want to counter him, he's maybe already angled off, or he's just safe because he's outside of your punches. Okay? He also likes baiting you in to moving. So he likes moving back, and when you want to close the distance, when you want to close the void, like DJ says, then he's going to fire at you. Then he's going to strike at you when you're closing the distance. Now, King Green also has some solid counters. You might see him slipping and then firing back, or you might even see him leaning over punches, better to say slipping over punches. Really basic technique, or what you see a few times, but again really effective, because the hand of the opponent first needs to be brought back to the head of the opponent. A lot of times this lands because, again, the unexpectancy. It is hard to use defense whilst you're punching. He also uses the backstab to counter. So you're moving in, you maybe still have momentum, or you just planted yourself, you just stopped. Then he's using the time frame where you're moving in, or where you planted to counter you again and to fire in his own shots. Another kick that Bobby uses a lot is his teep kick, okay? He doesn't really use it to hurt anybody, like with the quad kick, or again, like his jab that we're going to talk about in a second, but it is really like a jab. It is more a tool to manage the distance and to disrupt the rhythm. Most people do not want to knock their opponent out with a jab, okay? Although some people have done it in the past, normally this is not your goal. The jab is used to build combinations, to manage the distance when people are moving in, or again to disrupt the rhythm of your opponent. Again, the jab, really secure tool. The same is a bit with the teep kick. But sometimes the teep kick is not the safest option if you're fighting against the Krabbler, because he will take your leg, like with the Islam Makhachev fight, and then get you to the ground. So if you talk about the jab, King Green likes to use the jab to the body, like we saw in the latest sparring footage with Antonio Williams, where like everybody now on YouTube is saying, oh, he exposed boxing, you know, that stuff. You maybe saw that sparring. And he likes to set up the body and then come to the head. Now the last thing is something that has nothing to do with striking and nothing to do with defense. His most effective technique is rage baiting, okay? Bobby Green is a master rage baiter. He talks in the ring like he's in sparring, okay? And he literally likes, you know, he just talks and talks and talks like he's talking with a good friend, okay? That's, okay, maybe not like a good friend because I don't know what words he's saying. So let's just see what the opponent of him said.
Man, the trash talking and the way he moves his head, man, he's definitely a unique specimen to deal with.
What was he saying to you in there?
Everything from that punch missed to nah, that didn't hurt, that hit my elbow, you got nothing. Oh, and my favorite part was when I tried to talk back to him and he told me to shut up and then hit me with a two-piece. Like that was incredible. So man, props to him.
Talking can be effective in a fight. Now again, it is important that you do not shame yourself, okay? That you do not be really prideful and just talk and talk and talk and say, you can do nothing to me. And then you get knocked out. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. And if you feel that it's making your skill worse, don't do that as well. Okay, guys, so I see you back here. I try to really make the videos a lot better right now. And guys, if you have a video idea, write them in the comments. I will look at them and maybe I will make your video next. So guys, I see you back here soon for another video.